The truth is that when me and Josiah met, we went to Teyana's house in Harlem, and we just bonded, and he was like, yo, we gonna win Sundance. We gonna win everything. It's that type of movie. And then to see that come to fruition, it's like, wow, it's a real big dream come true.
When it comes to, could you tell us, Joshua, what's your character? I know you play Terry when he's a little older, 17 or so.
Yeah, just kind of piggyback off of what Will said. It kind of was like a just a manifesting of everything we kind of like spoke to the universe, and kind of spoke to existence, and supported obviously with our hard work. But yeah, the experience at Sundance was just surreal, because again, like Will said, man, we kind of said it was gonna happen like kind of like that. And when you work on something so meaningful, and so kind of genuinely authentic, when it comes to storytelling in cinema, it's very rare that you come across a story like that. And me specifically, playing the older version of Terry, the nuance of the character was just a little more profound, especially with my relationship with Lucky, and playing that role out of the film just was, to me, so profound.
How much would you say, Will, is this a story of moving forward in a very rough environment?
Say that one more time, I couldn't hear you.
How much do you think this film is about moving forward in a very bad situation? Just moving forward, don't against all odds, and try to protect your family or your son, basically, in this case.
Well, I think it's moving forward by looking at the past, but not staying there. It's a beautiful human experience of watching people exist on screen. And you get to see that. You're like a fly on the wall watching human behavior and seeing what it's like in the past and what it's like in the future. New York is changing, you're changing. I mean, we're getting older every single day, you know what I mean? And so you have no choice but to embrace change, even when you don't want to embrace change. And I really enjoyed the way I got a chance to work with 6-year-old Terry, 13-year-old Terry, and Josiah, who plays 17-year-old Terry, because even working with the different actors, you can see that a lot of what I put into the young actor has now manifested in the future when you speak of moving forward with Josiah, when he plays 17-year-old Terry. Just when he's in the movie, he says, hey, walk on this side of me, it's for your protection. You're like, oh, that seed I planted at 6 years old has now bear fruit at 17. So life is about forward progression.
I think the film talks a lot about, gentrification. I think that the whole world, not only New York City or Brooklyn or Harlem, are being gentrified, but it's a worldwide problem, how the upper class or middle class takes over neighborhoods that were more popular. Could you comment on that?
Yes, 1000%. I feel like it's almost a microcosm or a metaphysical observation that AV was so conscious and aware of, because even when we were filming in New York City in the summer of 2021, even getting in the van and being driven to set, we're literally passing, Brooklyn, in shambles as it's being built right before our eyes. And this is while we're filming, so it kind of gave us a consciousness and a grounding while we were filming to understand what AV was trying to achieve, and that this problem wasn't just a problem, in the late 90s, early 2000s, that it's happening today. And that's where I feel like the urgency of AV's story kind of landed. And I feel like that's why people are resonating with it so fervently.
Yeah. And I second what you said on that one too, just to add something to that. It also shows you your value. A super or landlord comes in, offers a lot of money, and you don't see the same value. So you give up your property and then they flip it. Even Jay-Z said it, I could have bought Dumbo for 2 mil, now it's worth 20 mil. You know, so it's having that value and that vision in your city, so that when gentrification happens, you can be a part of that forward movement and not on the backside of it.
Would you say that the American dream is it could be a nightmare, right? It's not, it's just a slogan, I guess.
It's a nightmare depending on who you're talking to.
That's what I mean. So I think the film touches that, no, that, well, there's American dream for some people, but not for everybody.
Exactly.
Well, I think the American dream exists, one, mentally first before it exists physically. You know, this still is the greatest country to live in. You know, you can come from nothing and make something out of yourself. It's just not being stuck in the thought process of certain environments don't allow you to think bigger. You know, that's the one thing that's great about America, especially myself being in Germany, being in China. You know, you see America, even though we have our problems, every nation has a dark past, but it's those who decide to move forward. It's those who decide to think about the future. And AB did a great job of that, even though she's painting, you know, with the mayor, Rudy Giuliani, and the changes, it's also the changes in people. You know what I mean? So at the same time, it's still Harlem, and we still love Harlem, even though it's changing. And so that's still the American dream.
It's the film is also a tribute to I mean, I think that it talks about the fact that exterior forces are sometimes very negative, but if you have the resilience, you can just go ahead and do what you have to do, right? Could you comment on the dynamics between self-esteem, exterior world, and you know, the obstacles that reality can put on you to improve your life?
I feel like Will hit it on the head when he said most of our problems, kind of the solution, it starts internally, and then, you know, externally, you know, you deal with the physical environment of something, where you can be dealing with the physical, you know, ailment, but how you interpret it, and how you choose to then navigate from that recognition of the, you know, problem itself, I think is what AV articulated very profoundly, with, you know, Terry being raised in this haphazard environment, where the lows are the constant for him. He doesn't have any highs. Everything for him is a low. So for then Terry being guided by the father figure in Lucky, seeing the type of man Lucky is, and almost picking apart and taking what is useful from Lucky. Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to take this. I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm going to try to be a man that provides, to go get my own education. He wants to go and learn music science. He's taking all of these things from his own interpretation internally, and trying to turn it around in his physical. So I definitely think it's a manifestation of what you choose to take from it and then navigate forward.
So Will, you've been around working as a producer, actor, director. What do you think Lucky brings into your career or your acting experience?
Well, I was just having this conversation with my makeup artist, and I was telling him, he asked me the same question. He said, hey, like, how do you feel about this role differently than ones that you played before? And one, the name of the role is Lucky, you know, and I do feel lucky, you know, but my dad will always tell me that luck is labor under constructive knowledge, right? And
That's a bar. That's a bar.
yeah. That's what my dad, you know, my 80-year-old dad said, it's labor under constructive knowledge. You still have to put the work in. But in answering your question in detail, the reason why I feel so great about this role is that it's the production value, working with Focus Features, the music, the score, the sounds of the city. You know, I finally get a chance to be a part of something that can display our talents and our gifts, but it's in a place where all the bells and whistles are there so that it can properly communicate what AV the director was trying to convey.
So I would like, we've seen you, Joshua, in many films. I mean, we just saw you in King Richard. What was the impact of being in that production that was so well received?
I think again, you know, Will has been in this business way longer than me, and he's seen things you know, that he's able to communicate and give me advice on, and that, you know, me and him have spoken privately about, that he's, you know, helped me along in my career. And I think what he just said is so important. A story that AV has told like this, the bells and whistles are so important, because often stories are told like this, but they never get seen, they never get heard. It's on
Yeah.
like some on YouTube and nobody ever sees it. So the fact that we're at a major distributed movie studio and we're telling this specific Black story is so important, because now it's heard around the world. And now
Yeah.
it's not just like, you know, somebody watching it on YouTube and then it never sees the light of day. And I think that's kind of what I appreciated about, you know, respectfully, that Will Smith was able to help me with, and allow me to be in a film like that, that, you know, was seen worldwide, and, you know, obviously was recognized by the Academy. And what not only I hope for this film, but what I know that this film will reach.
This film is wonderful too, because it gives a voice to a person that normally is considered invisible by society. I don't know, maybe, do you agree, Will?
Yeah, no, I do agree. I think that's a great observation. You know, I think a lot of us feel invisible at times, you know, until we can see someone doing exactly what you desire to do. And that's why I think 1001 will connect with so many different audiences, because there's something in there that you can take away that has nothing to do with race or color. It's just humans, and I feel invisible. The system forgot about me. You know, where do I go? You know, what is, and also in the film too, what is truly a mother? Is a mother the one who birthed you? Or is the mother someone who has decided to take care of you? And I think that would help a lot of kids that have step parents, you know, to know that you may not be my biological mother or father, but you've been sent to take care of me and help raise me. And that's why I connected to Josiah so much, because I wasn't just trying to, you know, be a character Lucky and give him what I'm trying to convey to him. I'm trying to reach Josiah. I'm trying to let Josiah know in real life, even though he's in the role of Terry, that the Father is the source, and let me give you the best of me. Don't end up like me, do better than me. And that's what we're supposed to do in order to push the next generation forward.